Hi, my name is Claudia Brown Coulter with Brownie Culture. I'm a divorce mediator and I help you create a customized divorce so that you can uncouple consciously and respectfully. Today we're talking about spousal support, and before we begin, go ahead and tell me hello if you're live so I can say hi to you. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and hashtag replay real quick. I'm going to make sure that everything is working on my end. Oh, thank goodness. Sometimes it comes out all blue. Okay, great. We're all here. All right, so thanks for joining me. So we're going to talk about spousal support in terms of your divorce and what are the things you need to think about when you are mediating spousal support. So spousal support is not necessarily something fun to even consider. We get child support, right? Like, okay, they're kids, they need to be supported. But the idea of spousal support is really, really difficult for the person, the supporting spouse, because it's like, we're not married anymore. Why do I have to continue this obligation? So if you are somebody that thinks you're going to need that support, please keep that in mind as you're mediating, it's totally your right to ask for support, and for divorce in California, go for it. But keep their perspective in mind that I'm not married to you. I'm about to not be married to you anymore. Why should I keep supporting you? Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to make sure you understand. Now, I'm not an attorney, and this is not legal advice, but I want to make sure you understand a couple of things about spousal support or alimony in California. It's not automatic. It is not automatic. When you file for divorce or when you respond to your spouse filing for divorce, you need to request spousal support there. Okay, you have to request it on your original filings. There's no magical number. So the court does consider 10 years in California, a 10-year marriage, a long-term marriage. Some people think, oh, you've been married 10 years? That's spousal support for life. Not necessarily. Everything's up to the discretion of the court. Now, when you are mediating, that means things are up to you guys, and you guys have to decide how you will address spousal support for you guys, for yourselves. So one of the first things you can do, and a lot of people do it, is they just go ahead and waive spousal support. You can waive spousal support, but once it's waived, you can't be like, oops, my bad. Once you waive it, it's waived. You can't come back 6 months later, 2 years later, I lost my job. I need you to support me now. No, it's waived. You can't. You cannot modify that. It's not child support. Not once you've waived it. You can modify spousal support, but if you've waived it, you have given up your right to have that. So you can also decide, we don't need it, so we're going to waive it completely. I don't want it. You don't want it. We're good. You can also decide, I need maybe a lump sum payout. I don't want to keep getting checks from you. I don't want to keep paying you, but maybe a lump sum payout. So you can agree to a lump sum payout and then waive your spousal support. That's something you can do. But if you guys decide, okay, there needs to be spousal support, and you both agree, then once the party who is paying, I'm apologizing, I'm stumbling a little bit. So spousal support is paid monthly. So you have to determine how much a month will that be? What amount of spousal support is that going to be? And how long should it continue? Should it continue for 10 months or until the other party is married again? Or just until, I don't know, till they get on their feet? So you guys decide in your mediation how long spousal support is going to continue. You also need to think about, a lot of times, you need to think about their job. A lot of times spousal support is needed because people might be in between jobs, or maybe they haven't been in the workforce for a while. So here's a couple examples. Maybe you are taking care of the kids at home and you're in grad school and you are working to get your hours done and you are almost there and your wife has been supporting you. Okay. So your wife is at work supporting you, and you have been at home supporting the family and furthering your education, which in the long run goes to support the family. But you're getting a divorce. You're going to need spousal support. Let me rephrase that. You might decide that you need spousal support. Well, if you're graduating in 6 months and you've got a job lined up, then you might only need 6 months of spousal support. But if you've been out of the workforce because you've been the secretary for your spouse's business, or you've been the stay-at-home mom or dad for X number of years and you've not needed to work out of the home, because work inside the home is still work, it is work, then the conversation needs to be had. Well, what type of training does the supported spouse need? What type of educational, vocational training do they need? And how long should that work? How long should that last? And then should we revisit this? Should we come back and revisit this to make sure that they actually are getting that training? These are things you can build into your agreement. Like, I can't just support you indefinitely if we've agreed that you're going to go to school and then you decide you're not going to go to school. Those are things you need to bake into your agreement. The other thing you have to consider is unpredictable income. Income such as bonuses, little extra seasonal perks that you get. Maybe you get not numbers on your paycheck, extra numbers on your paycheck, but you have physical perks and bonuses and access to those things. Is there a way to monetize that? And as a couple who's about to be divorced, how should that be divvied up into spousal support? The other thing you need to think about and consider as you're thinking about spousal support is medical insurance. The person who needs the support, do they have their own medical insurance? Do they have a job that provides that, or are they on your insurance? Can they afford new medical insurance? Is your employer going to have a problem with insuring an ex-spouse? So those are things that you have to consider. And here's a really, really, really important thing I want you to think about. You need to think about future modifications of support. How will you modify this in the future? What if you lose your job? What if you are the supporting spouse and you lose your job, or you take a serious pay cut? You're going to want to modify that support if you can't pay it anymore. On the other side, your spouse, your ex now, who you are supporting, may want to modify support if you suddenly become a multi-millionaire. So you may have to come back to mediation. You may want to bake that in, that every year you're going to review it. Are you going to college? Are you being forthcoming with your finances? How are we going to end this? Maybe it's a bulk amount up front, and then it gradually lowers down throughout the years, and then has a definite end point. So negotiating spousal support and thinking about spousal support is very, very complicated. Okay, it's very complicated. It's not like child support where you can just type in some things into a system and it'll spit out a number. It won't do that for you. Judges don't have anything legit to go by like that. It's not like there's a secret system that only judges use. No. Okay, judges have to weigh all of that information and make a decision as well. So you're weighing that information. If you were to decide to not negotiate that and take it to court and let a judge decide, they've got to weigh all of those issues too. And ultimately, it is at their discretion, because there are not specific guidelines for how spousal support should be allocated like there are for child support. Now, don't freak out. Don't freak out on me if your spouse is asking for if your spouse is asking for spousal support, or if you you are the one asking for spousal support and you're like, they're never going to give it to me. You have to ask, and you have to get into negotiation in a mediated session and negotiate and see what you can agree on. You might have more things in common than you think. And there might be things that are more important to you than they are to the person, and you can work out some things. It's not impossible. And I think one of your best friends about mediation is that when you need to modify that, when you need to modify that support agreement, you can come back and modify it. So it's not set in stone. It's not the end of the world. And if you guys agree, it doesn't have to last forever. It can if you want it to. If you want it to last forever, it certainly can, but it doesn't have to. Your spousal support is complicated, but the opposite side of that is to go, my options are limitless of how we can make this work. Really, the more creative you are, that not in creative finances like hiding money. That's not the creativity I'm talking about. But the creativity that you have when you come up with ideas to make things work for you, that will really benefit you here. So you have a lot of leeway and liberty to be creative to make this work for you post-divorce. Okay, if you have stuck with me this long, thank you so much. I know this isn't an easy topic, but I am here to help you stay calm and empower you to make the best decisions for your future, for you and your family. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, and I will see you real soon. Bye.